How's everybody doing? Sorry, just something flashed on the screen real quick. Welcome back, everybody. How are we doing tonight? This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean. This is the fan channel built by you, powered by you, sustained by you. Really, just it's your channel. And as you can see, we've got to 2K subscribers because of everything you guys do. Absolute legends. Each and every one of you guys get involved, helping the channel grow, liking those videos, watching those videos, subscribing. Couldn't be more thankful. But welcome to your channel. That's what this is. And tonight, guys, it is that time. It is that time of the fall-winter season. It is the first Manchester derby of the season. Honestly, it's arguably the weakest Manchester derby in years, considering City's form right now and considering just United these days. But still, it's a big fixture. And we're here tonight to preview it, as we always do with these matches. As always, we're going to look at each side's recent form. We're going to look at a little bit of team news, press conference from our manager. I want to know your thoughts on starting 11 predictions. Who would you start? I want to know your score predictions and how you think things are going to generally play out over the 90 minutes. I want all of that here. As always, we're going to dive in, start with just a little bit of transfer news. But first and foremost, just don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for me. But hit the like button too if you just want to celebrate and congratulate the women's team. They did beat Newcastle's women's team recently in their League Cup, which has shot them into the quarterfinals of that cup. So big up the women's team for getting the job done in that regard. I hope you guys do find time every now and then to check out the women's team. As always, I think the under 21s play tomorrow morning as well. It's a little too early. I'm not going to be able to do a watch along for that one. I was thinking about it, but I just don't think I'm going to be able to swing it tomorrow. But the under 21s play Southampton tomorrow. So if you have MUTV, go ahead and give that a watch. Usman, welcome, my friend. How are you doing this evening? Let me know what you're getting up to on a Friday night, my guy. Friday night's usually a little loose. I like to kind of keep it open throughout the stream, but get involved, get your questions, get your comments in the chat. So the women's team, big up the women's team for getting to the quarterfinal in their League Cup, and big up Andre Onana. I know is a sore subject these days, but he did win the Premier League's Save of the Month for his one-handed save against Ipswich to deny Liam Delap that really close-range goal. It was a really good save. It wasn't just the reaction. He came off his line to close down the space. He made himself big. He got his arm up. He got one hand up, blocked that shot. Why can't he do that more often, right? But anyway, big up Andre Onana for winning the Premier League's Save of the Month. Moving on to a little bit of transfer news before we dive into the nitty-gritty. So Rudy Galletti, if you guys are familiar with Rudy Galletti, journalist, you guys let me know how reliable you think Rudy Galletti is. It seems like he's kind of hit or miss, but we're going to report on it anyway because it's the news, right? But so he is reporting that Manchester United have made contact with Girona left back Miguel Gutierrez. Apparently, we've reached out to Girona to inquire about Miguel Gutierrez. We've been linked with Gutierrez many, many times. He was on my list, if you guys remember, for left backs to replace Luke Shaw. I really, really, really like Gutierrez. Please don't give me hope, journalists. Don't give me hope, United, if we're not going to get it done. Remember a while back, Galletti, the same journalist, he actually reported that Gutierrez made it clear to Girona that he wanted to leave. Girona seemed like they know, like, he's going to be gone. It is what it is. Real Madrid, he came from Real Madrid. Real Madrid have a 50% sell-on clause in Gutierrez in the sale from Real Madrid to Girona. But he also has a 35 million euro release clause. But rumor has it that Gutierrez will take less than the 35 million. So if that's the case, that is a good deal for a very, very, very good wingback. He is very attack-minded, gets up and down the pitch very, very, very fast. If you look at some of his metrics, shot creating action, successful dribbles, progressive carries, they're all well above average. He has also even played in like a winger role in like a 4-2-3-1 run out. So he's kind of a perfect fit. I know some of you are going to want Alphonso Davies. I think either would be fine. Gutierrez injury is probably a little less prevalent, but either would be really good. It's really up in the air who would be cheaper, honestly. I think that Alphonso Davies, if you wait till the summer to get Alphonso Davies, you might get into a little bit of a bidding war in terms of a signing bonus, but then you never know. It's really personal preference at this point. But You guys let me know. Would you take Gutierrez? Do you like Gutierrez? I love Miguel Gutierrez. He was on my list. You guys know. RSV, welcome, my friend, says big up. I'm starting to get concerned about the decisions Ineos have made so far, these cost-cutting measures and what they did at Nice. Seems a bit of a red flag. I think that, like I said the other day, they've made a lot of decisions that, I mean, maybe it's because me as like a small business owner myself, like I sympathize a little bit with some of the hard decisions that you have to make. Sometimes it's hard to please everybody. I get it. I'm not saying I agree with all the decisions. I've already told you I don't like the ticket price thing at all. Like I said, they need to find another way to get some money. I mean, we haven't raised ticket prices in a very long time. So as for my business, I have to keep raising rates as my therapists are working, as we're growing, because it's sustainable growth. Therapists I get it. It's all a thing. So, but I do hear you. The redundancies, it's not fun as far as the staff goes. Apparently we had a couple hundred more like staff members than any other club. And so I think that there's a question of how many of these staff members were necessary. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the ins and outs. I know it just as much as you do. I think the sympathy I have for Ineos in terms of some of those decisions is what they inherited. The Glazers and Woodward and everybody did like to pretend that we were a big club, and part of that was the big players paying the big wages. We can do things in the transfer market other clubs can only dream of. The lavish spending on this, that. They like to pretend that we were a big club. They were basically a homeless person with, getting their like stimulus check from COVID or something and just going out and spending and pretending like it was all okay. It really wasn't. We were spending way outside of our means, and we are where we are as far as PSR is concerned because of that. And so I'm trying to keep all this a little bit objective mindset, but I hear you. It is frustrating. We're going to see. Right now they're trying to basically do the best they can with what they have. Now, I don't agree with some of the decisions, like I said, but I'll let you decide, what's better or worse. It's not an easy situation. There's not really a right or wrong answer. It's just what answer is probably better for the club in terms of cutting down on extra stuff. So, but I hear you. I'm totally hear you, RSV. But welcome back tonight. Hope you're having a good night. It's been cold. I know you don't live that far from me, RSV. So you tell me if you're digging the cold. It's been freezing. Sticking with transfer news, Plettigol, Florian Plettenberg, has also reiterated once again that Manchester United are still reportedly discussing Ederson at Atalanta, the Brazilian midfielder. I think he's like 25, 26 now. Watched him the other day. I like Ederson a lot. He's a good all-around midfielder. He's exactly the kind of midfielder that I think we need. He's a good age. He's experienced, comes in. He's a leader. He does a little bit of everything. He gets around the pitch. He helps out off the ball. He helps out on the ball. He's a really good all-around midfielder, and he's exactly what I think we need. Someone who's got energy, someone who's got the fight, someone who's going to take control of situations. I think he'd be perfect for Kobe Mainu to come in and learn from, for some of these other youngsters that are coming through like Sekou Kone and whatever to come in and learn from over the next 4 or 5 years. I like that signing a lot. We'll see what happens. We need a midfielder just like that, though. But you guys let me know what you think about Ederson. It all went a little quiet after the summer. We were a lot of the links, and then nothing ever materialized. But I like him a lot. Hopefully we can get something over the line. Hopefully we can do something in January. A lot of these rumors have to do with January. Gutierrez, Ederson, they all are linked with January moves. I'm not so sure if you're going to get big money spends like that unless we sell a big name in January, but we will see. Jumping into the match, we might as well start out by having a little chat about how Man City's season is going these days. 1 win in their last 10 says it hasn't been going very well. And this culminated in their Champions League match against Juventus on Wednesday, which was a 2-0 loss. They once again just looked flat out of ideas. I mean, when you're letting Weston McKennie come in and scissor kick a goal in the box, I mean, I don't rate Weston McKennie at all. If you're letting that happen to you, something's wrong. It's like when Liverpool let Anthony score with his right foot in that FA Cup match. If you're letting Anthony get a goal on his left foot, you just quit the match. Just mercy rule. That actually dropped City to 22nd in the Champions League now, if you can believe that, by the way. That's ridiculous. In fact, I read a stat earlier that since the start of November, City have conceded more goals across all competitions than any other team in Europe's top 5 leagues. That's insane. I can't even get behind. I can't fathom the drop off from City from last season to this has been just like I don't even have a word. There aren't any words big enough for that. Like it's hilarious as a rival fan, but I'm just like, how does this even happen? Slash, man, how are you doing tonight? City season has been awesome viewing. It's been hilarious. I mean, it started really, really funny. Then Pep started scratching himself, started talking about hurting himself. And now I'm honest to God, like a little worried. I don't know if you guys watched the Juventus match, but Ben Jacobs was reporting on it afterward. I guess, he said that City fans were trying to leave the match early, and they weren't allowed to. Like they were being prevented from leaving. Pep went from literally begging his fans to come to the matches to now they won't even let the fans leave the matches. It's the club is a shambles right now. It is an absolute shit show, and I'm here for it. I know you guys are here for it. And I'm also going to throw a little crazy conspiracy theory out there right now. I was talking to Justin, if you guys remember Justin, on the phone. Does anyone else besides me feel like City's players, like the squad, have kind of been told, or someone's kind of let them know, like, yeah, these charges aren't really looking great for us, and they're kind of like giving up a little bit? Does anyone feel like that's something going on? They just don't look up for it. And like I said, the drop off from guys like Foden or even Walker, like Walker wasn't this bad last season. I mean, he's been in a little bit of a decline, but he's not been this bad. Or even Ruben Diaz. The drop off has been insane. So it can't. You can't just. That's too sharp of a drop off for it to just be like a natural kind of a thing. And there's too many of it. Too many drop offs from these individual players going on all at once for it to not be something like behind the scenes is what I'm trying to hint at. But maybe I'm just pulling out the tinfoil hat. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the chat. In any case, we're gonna see how Pep tackles this one, because between their form, their available players, or I guess their injured players or whatever, and then just the hilarious downward spiral that Pep is on right now, I kind of sort of gave up trying to analyze and anticipate what I think they're going to do tactics wise. It's anyone's guess right now. He's going to be without Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis got suspended on the weekend. Rodri's still out. Obviously, Oscar Bob is out. So, no academy product. I think Akanji is out. Stones is out. Nathan Ake looks likely to be out as well. So he's going to have to he doesn't have a whole lot of defenders that are fit. So he's going to have to shoehorn some players into awkward positions, or he might have to use more youngsters. God forbid he's got to actually dip into the academy a little bit. It could be great for us, though, again, especially with a kind of a makeshift defense, and that's why I think we need to go strong. And I'll show you my starting 11 in a little while here, but the lack of stability that a makeshift defense does for Pep could be going for us. I think that the dip in form, the age of their players, the individual errors that we've been seeing from their plays, it's all of it's been like their Achilles heel. Against Sporting, for instance, like that back line was way exposed. Gyökeres exploited it over and over again. City left gaps in the channels. They had left too much space in behind. The defense is not used to playing together, so there was no line. The line was kind of all over the place. So you have a good chance of being onside. So maybe Rashford can finally be onside. I don't know. Part of me thinks that we might see Pep go with a back three a little bit. I think Walker, Ruben Diaz, and Gavardio could kind of make a back three. We've seen Walker play in that center back-ish role before. But who knows? I'm not going to try to analyze it too much more than that, because it's really anyone's guess. Pep could just go full Pep and go absolutely crazy like he did in that Champions League final against Chelsea. Who knows? But our manager has been speaking ahead of this match. Let's see what he had to say. So he was actually asked about City's form, and he said he was asked, City are in quite a strange run of form, right? What do you think this is? Do you think this is a good time to be playing them? He said, no, I never think about these things. We're going to face a great opponent. I'm more focused on our problems. We have a lot of issues, so I'm focused on what we should do on Sunday. So again, just trying not to worry about anything else, probably just being a little diplomatic. It is what it is. He was asked about, so he came out after a Victoria Pilsen game and said, we need to run a little more. And he was asked about this. He said, journalists asked him, you keep talking about the need to run. How do you improve this at a time when you haven't got much time to train? How do you get this United team to run the way you want? And he said transitions. If you remember from that first training footage that we saw, it was all about transitions. It was all about getting back in defense and whatnot. He was constantly just blowing the whistle randomly when they lost the ball, and everybody had to get back. That's something that we see other teams do really well against us. It's not something we do really well for ourselves. He said, tell them to run, tell them which kind of position they must have when the ball is in our box. So try to make some targets during training, during games, push them to press. If they don't have time to train, they can play in 3 days, so they can cope with that and improve on that. So put small targets like some marks on the pitch telling when the ball is near to our box. Everybody should be near the box. So he's pretty open with some of the things he's trying to work on, which isn't a bad thing. I think there's a fine line between playing things close to your chest and kind of being open, tactically, like we've seen some more managers do. Seems like things have been a little different now that they've put like the managers come immediately after the game, like on the pitch, there's that little podium and they come and talk now, which we hadn't really seen before. So whether or not that's a good thing is completely up to you guys. You guys let me know. Do you like that? Do you think there's too much cameras getting involved in some of these situations and you like to just kind of keep things close to the chest? Some people are different. Let me know. He says, we are improving in those areas. If you see the transitions, you see that I think we are improving with the speed. Sometimes we can't do it still, but we're trying, and I can feel it in the team. So just looking through some of the presser, I haven't really looked at it a whole lot yet. A lot of it seems pretty vanilla. He was asked, how much are you looking forward to your first derby? He says, I'm really focused on the details. I just want to improve the team. So I cannot live it like a normal derby, like it should be. Two great teams fighting for the title. It's not that right now. It's one more game with a very good opponent. Both teams are struggling, so I hope in the future I feel that feeling. So he's basically saying right now it doesn't feel that way because, we're working, they're struggling. It doesn't feel like two great teams. It should be, but it's not right now, and we're both very realistic about that. So, but he is looking forward to that. He was asked about Andre Onana, and, we had a lot to say about Andre Onana following the Victoria Pilsen match. We had a lot to say about Andre Onana following the Nottingham Forest match. If you watched YouTube at all today, you saw a lot of the compilations of fan reactions probably to Andre Onana. He did not cover himself in glory. He was asked, it was a difficult day for Andre at the weekend. He's obviously been involved in the goal again tonight. Do you have any concerns about his form heading into such a big game? Amorim said, yeah, we have to take it like it is. He had already in the past a situation like that, so we have to work on this. If you see the play, we're trying to build up with a lot the goalkeeper making balls with De Ligt. This time we have a little bit of a disconnect during the play, and when we tried this, we suffered a difficult goal, but we managed. So he's saying, it wasn't just Onana. He's saying there was, the way we're playing out from the back, it does have a lot of different moving parts, and if one of those moving parts isn't in the right position or whatever, it can fall apart. This is part of playing out from the back. It does require a lot of things to be happening really, really, really well, and it requires certain things from all your players. It's really difficult. I still think that, again, if De Ligt's not where it's supposed to be, you don't have to pass the ball. It's just what I'm saying. You can hoof it, and we can regroup and try again later. But that's just me. Maybe I'm a little harsh. What did you guys think of that situation? You guys let me know. I'm just looking through this here. Yeah, nothing really else going on. The pressers are getting boring, but it's ridiculous. But so not a whole lot of difference in team news. Evans probably still not going to play. Lindelof might maybe get a spot on the bench. Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, Shaw's not there. I want to know how you guys think we should line up. I'm going to throw my get your starting 11 up in the chat. Slash says I can't decide if we steal a win or completely collapse. Honestly, it could go either way, right? There's not going to be a gray in this one. I think that it's just a matter of who's going to collapse more. I don't know. I'm going to put my starting 11 up on the screen so you guys can see. I went with what I thought was probably our strongest 11 at the moment in terms of form and what I've seen from people, as you can see here. So obviously, I'm still going with Onana in goal because whether you like it or not, Onana, overall, his season has been good. He's had a couple of mistakes recently, but I think he'll be fine. I'm not going to take a couple moments in a couple games and call that his entire career. Plus, he's better than Bayindir. He's better than Tom Heaton. What else are you going to do, right? I got Yoro, De Ligt, and Licha. I think that's probably our best center back trio. Honestly, I mean, depending on the situation. If we're in a situation where we're going to be facing teams that are putting a lot of crosses in the box and who's going to be maybe spamming those, maybe you can put an argument for Maguire or Evans. But right now, this is who we're going with. I've got what I think is probably are going to be our pivot moving forward for a long time in Mainu and Ugarte. If they can stay fit, if Mainu can continue to develop and Ugarte keeps playing the way he's playing, Ugarte and Mainu need to be our midfield. I really like that. Mainu has some really good interception and dribble numbers. Ugarte obviously patrols that area. He's actually got really, really good numbers. His duels are excellent. He gets around the pitch. He brings the legs. It's exactly what I want. We're going to need legs right now, not necessarily because I think City are going to have the legs. It's because I want us to dominate that area of the pitch. City have a lot of older players. De Bruyne, Silva, Kovacic. These guys are older. We need to get at them. It's not about stopping the ball from getting to Højlund. It's about disrupting getting the ball to players like De Bruyne and Silva. Silva's going to be buzzing around. Gundogan, if he starts, he's another one who's old. De Bruyne, not looking great. I think we really need to just dominate that area of the pitch with energy and physicality, and we need to disrupt the passing. We need to disrupt the patterns that City are trying to do. That's also why I've moved Mazraoui a little higher up the pitch, and I like Ahmad in there. They both can contribute off the ball as well. I think that I really like that. I think that between the two of them, Yoro and Ahmad can probably keep an eye on Doku. I'm not really worried about Savinho because the guy is just an Antony that City had to cheat to get, honestly. I don't worry about Savinho at all. I'm not worried about Grealish. Grealish has one move, and it's roll over, and then dribble inside, and then just outside of the foot it back to his center back. That's all Grealish does, or he wins a free kick outside the edge of the box. That's it. Behind the striker is where it starts to get interesting. I don't really like Bruno in deeper role, not in this system anyway. I think that he can. I just don't like it as much. And I want to get our strongest team out there. And I think that right now for me, Mount has come on, and he came on the other day against Pilsen, and he brought a lot of energy, a lot of creativity. And that's what we need. I think that makeshift back defense that City are going to have, we need to get out there. We need some energy. Mount's going to press. He's going to take advantage of these situations and these players that maybe aren't playing where they want to play. And he and Bruno, I think, can do that. If Mount presses and Bruno, and he can win the ball, find Bruno, find Højlund, I think that's going to be great. We have to play Højlund. Zirkzee can't start this match not because I think Zirkzee is bad. He's just not doing as well as Højlund right now. And Højlund is in such good form. He's got like 4 goals in his last couple matches in Europe. Like, he's got it. You have to start Højlund. You don't have a choice. Honestly, Højlund's the first name on the team sheet for me personally. Slash says, don't think Mainu is match fit. He's not match fit. He come on the other day. Nobody said anything in the presser, and I didn't see anything that said he wasn't match fit. I mean, if he's not match fit when he's not even really played a whole lot, I mean, I don't know how else he's going to get match fit. Hold on. Yeah, he didn't come on the other day, so he should be fresh personally. But if somebody said something, if there's been news of a knock or something, let me know. But that is my starting 11 for this one. And you guys let me know who you might replace. I don't know who I'd put next to Ugarte then / if Mainu isn't fit. Personally, I don't really like any of the other options. I don't think Casemiro is a good fit necessarily, but I've been wrong before. I think Casemiro can do that job, but he just played, and I don't know if he can play multiple games right now. But you let me know who you would go with / I'm going to remove this and jump in here. Sorry, I just got to find my place now. So it seemed pretty obvious against Victoria Pilsen that some players might have been rotated with an eye on the derby. Some players came in late, like Ugarte, like Mount, like Højlund, to kind of get minutes but not tire them out ahead of this. You can argue perhaps that some players were also maybe played in new roles, like Ahmad playing behind the striker, to maybe get a little bit of practice there ahead of a derby. Whether or not we're going to see Ahmad in that role, I don't know. I actually I think he didn't have his best game against Victoria Pilsen on that role. Not as well as he's been, but he still had an all right game. I have been critical of Amorim's heavy rotation. And what I'm really hoping for now is that we're going to start to see some sort of a semblance of what he thinks is his core 11, his strongest starting 11. I'd like us to start feeling that out and maybe kind of see that on a regular basis with maybe one or two changes in each match, because the 5 to 6 changes that we've been seeing for a long time each match under Amorim in the last month is I've not enjoyed it personally. But we'll see. Does Ahmad play in the 10 again? Did Rashford do enough for you guys to warrant another start? He didn't start a couple matches until on Thursday's match. Didn't really do much for me, honestly. I just don't see a spot in this team for Rashford. Was Garnacho being rested to maybe prepare him for the City match? We know Garnacho loves a match against City. He and Kobe scored those goals. In the FA Cup final. Maybe he can have another good day against Vardio. I'm just saying, 100 million on a defender. The guy can't defend worth a damn. City do have quality in midfield, but they don't have legs. Like I said, I want us to dominate that area. I want players with energy. Kobe's got good interception numbers. He's really good on the ball. Ugarte will do a lot of that dirty work. I don't want City to have a minute to breathe in that midfield. I don't want them to be able to move the ball around like they can personally. Slash is going with Casemiro. He says Manu was fit, but he's not had enough minutes since coming back from injury. I feel like he wasn't injured, right? He came back and then he got suspended for the Arsenal match. And then he played after that, I feel like, didn't he? Somebody let me know. He played against did he play against Forest? Yeah, he started against Forest and he finished the match. So Slash says Rashford needs to miss a few matches. Rashford, he arguably missed a few when he was a substitute for a couple of them, but it's one of those things, like I said, sometimes strengthening means selling or benching a player. Sometimes strengthening is addition by subtraction. Sometimes you have to leave a player out of the starting 11, out of the matchday squad altogether sometimes because the player being on the pitch actually makes things worse. Whether that's a form thing or just they don't offer anything to the system kind of thing, I don't know. But Rashford to me doesn't do enough. And I think he does look better with Xerxes. I don't think he and Højlund together work very well. I think they're too redundant. They're basically the same. But I do want us to dominate that midfield. What we have to do is we have to be careful not to just chase the ball around like a dog in the backyard. We have to also be disciplined. I don't want us to get sucked in too tight with players on the ball because that's what City can do to you. They have players who are very good on the ball. They'll invite the press and then they'll find somebody else. They're very well drilled. They're very, very tactically organized. We have to be disciplined. We have to be patient. We have to not leave space exposed for them. We have to be disciplined. I know it can be tempting to come rush out and make a tackle and make a challenge. We have to be careful. Juventus did very good by being very, very defensive. Cut off the lanes like we did in the final. Pressure the ball carrier. Don't let them get into our half as well. Again, we did it before. We can do it again. We played that FA Cup final like to a T. Anticipate the ball to players like De Bruyne before it gets to him. I don't want to see Højlund wrestling like Ruben Diaz and whatnot. Just stick to him making runs. We saw against Sporting in the Champions League that Gyökeres was having a field day with all the space, all the channels. The makeshift defense was leaving him all sorts of room. We need to play to the strengths of Højlund, and his strengths are running in behind space, running off the shoulder of defenders. Problem is someone needs to find him. That's been a problem. Someone needs to get their head up. In the last match, we weren't being as bold and as intentional with these passes. The pass was on. People were seeing it, but for some reason, there was something in their head, whether it was Licha or Mazraoui, they weren't making the pass. We were inviting the press and then trying to find the pass, but nobody was making it. So we need to move the ball quicker. Amorim has also said this recently as well. We're not moving the ball quickly enough. We're just, even Onana, like against Pilsen, almost got caught out. Thankfully, it went out for a goal kick and didn't become a goal. But we have to move the ball faster. People have to start showing for the ball. There's got to be more movement. We were way too static on Thursday. Maybe that was jet lag, like I said in my match reaction, but we got to do a little better. We need to clean up a little bit in the back line. I think our back line has been just a little too open. We leave a little too much space. Those gaps that we leave, like we saw against Forest when Bruno played that poor pass to Lenny Yoro. Where was the defense? Morgan Gibbs-White had nothing but time and space. He had the whole width of the box basically to shoot, and obviously he got a goal as well. We need to tighten up a little bit. We have way too many gaps, and I think that that's something we need to clean up. Juventus stayed compact and made themselves difficult to break down this week on Wednesday, and that's where City struggled. Ilkay Gundogan said it after the match. He said that they just made themselves difficult to break down, and it was hard. We need to be switched on. We need to be disciplined, like I said. Sorry, Dallo, this isn't a match for you because you switch off too much. We need to communicate with each other, I think, is the best way to make sure that all this happens the way it needs to happen. Rajat, how are you, my friend? Rajat says, play Xerxes and Lingard, bro. 2 10s next to Hoyland. Lingard has been gone for like 3 years, bro. So, yeah, we need to communicate. I don't care if Licha and De Ligt aren't wearing the captain's armband. Somebody needs to captain and marshal and organize and lead that back line. Someone needs to take responsibility. Someone needs to call things out. Someone needs to get into each other's ear and just talk. Like, too many people are so quiet when they're playing these games. And even at like the amateur, I was talking to Justin on the phone. Like, people just talk to each other. If you guys are playing and there's people who just aren't used to playing or people who are not used to playing with each other, talk. The best way to keep mistakes from happening over and over again, the best way to get rid of misunderstandings is just to communicate, talk to each other. Tell someone they've got time. Tell someone they've got a man on. Tell someone to pass. Tell someone to slow down. Tell someone to pass it back to you if you want it back. You have to talk. Too many people are too quiet. So I need our defense. Someone needs to come in there and just take charge of it. On our recent form at United, our win last night against Victoria Pilsen means Amorim is now the third United manager to win both of his first two matches in a major European competition. So puts him up there with Sir Matt Busby and Sir Alex. We're obviously coming off a high after picking up those 3 points. Honestly, we didn't deserve the win. It was smash and grab. The performance was very leggy, but we got him. It's a win is a win, like I said. 3 wins in our last 5 isn't exactly stellar, seeing as how there's 2 losses on the bounce in there. It definitely doesn't fill me with confidence going into this. This is why I said this was like the weakest derby in a while. Even despite City's form, I'm not super confident. Raja says, can Ugarte and whoever play next to him take on the average players, Kovacic, and overrated average Gundogan? Yeah, you missed my starting 11. I put Mainu and Ugarte in the pivot with Mount and Bruno behind Hoyland. I have Ahmad on the right wing back. I've got Mazraoui on the left wing back, and my defense is Yoro, De Ligt, and Lissandro. Pretty much the strongest 11 I think we have fit at the moment was who I went with. I think that, again, even City's form is as bad as it's been. You never feel 100% confident in these United players. It has little to do with the competition and more to do with us right now. But it's weird, right? We have players. It's so weird. It's like the sum is not bigger than all of its parts, right? Like, we have guys like Hoyland, guys like Ugarte, guys like Mazraoui and Ahmad who have been stellar individually, right? But then as a team, we don't look great. So the parts are looking really, really good, but the whole is not. And a lot of that has to do with just the quality. Like I said, the O principle, it basically says that a player's detriments will multiply. They don't just stack up because they impact other people. Maybe it's when certain players are in the team, it impacts other people around them, and that's what makes us worse. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. We have a few players, too, who aren't just playing well, not playing as well as they can. We have players who look out of place, like I said, and they've not been effective. And that does play into my lack of confidence, probably. It's the head and the heart, as always, as a United fan. You know, what you think will happen versus what you want to happen. Raja says, Maguire needs to play to potentially go bully Haaland. I don't know if I've ever seen Maguire bully anybody personally. Not saying he's bad. I don't see him keeping up with Haaland a little bit. Slash says, Maguire absolutely doesn't need to play. You could probably stay home. Maguire is not bad, like I've said many times. I just don't know if this is the match for him. Licha has kept Haaland quiet on several occasions, even when Ajax had that, when they played Dortmund in the Champions League before, right, the season before Haaland came to City, they knocked Dortmund out of the competition. They kept him to a clean sheet, and Licha was playing, and he was marking Haaland out of the game. So Licha can do it. We just need him to get back to what we know he can be. He hasn't looked like his old self since coming back from his long-term injury. This season especially, he's been miles off it, but you never know. All it takes is one match to turn it around. So Raja says, Rodri's on fire away. He's injured, not playing. Yeah, Rodri's done for the season. So I'm surprised City haven't went and got like another 60 million pound player, probably Zubamendi or something. Um, so Ruben Amorim, before he joined United midseason, he destroyed City and Pep Guardiola in the Champions League with Sporting. We also beat City in the FA Cup final, so our manager has beaten them recently. We beat them the last time we played them. Different manager, of course, new manager now. How do we make sure that we're not the team that gives City a result that could help them turn around their fortunes? How do we make sure that we turn one win in 10 to them from one win in 11? How do we make sure that happens? At the end of the day, it's down to the players, like I said. Are you confident in this squad to show up on the day and get a result based on what we've seen? It's one thing to say we can, just like it's another thing to say, yeah, we can qualify for top four, right? But it's another thing to say that we will. The evidence is what keeps you from saying we will, and the evidence does not look great. We've had some very leggy match on Thursday. We didn't deserve that. The two matches prior against Forest and Arsenal were not great results either, and the performances really were the worst part. So you guys let me know what you think about this one. What are your score predictions? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think we're going to do? Get your thoughts in on the starting 11 too if you haven't put those in. I showed you mine already. I am going to go with a 2-2. I'm going to go with a draw, 2-2. I think that Højlund's going to bag one. I think Bruno is going to put away a pen. I don't know where I get these from. I just think Højlund's going to bag one because Højlund's in good form right now. But I think it'll be 2-2. I think that we're going to concede on a set piece because we seem to always concede on a set piece. But you guys let me know what you think. I'm going to go 2-2. And while I'd probably, if you offered me a draw right now, I'd probably take it. I know some of you probably wouldn't. It makes me sound pessimistic, but it just is what it is. I'm just banking on what I've seen. It's one of those things where I just don't want us to lose because I want us to keep building momentum. Obviously, I'd take a win. Obviously, I want to win. It's just about what I think is going to happen. So what do you guys think is going to happen? I'll leave the chat open for a few more minutes. So get your thought in on some of the transfer news. Ederson at Atlanta, we've been linked with again. Miguel Gutierrez, word is that we're looking for, we've opened talks with Girona about Gutierrez, potentially even in January. Could be less than 35 million from what the reports say. Slash says 5-4 either way. Neither of us can defend. Onana was up there for like was he like second most clean sheets now? I can't remember off the top of my head. So we can defend. We had the most clean sheets in the league for a little while. Results wise, watching us play, you're like, what the hell is going on? It's those set pieces that kill us. The set pieces they're just killing. We've conceded set pieces so many times. And then Onana just keeps making mistakes. I mean, that Pilsen goal was just a fucking shit show. I don't know what was going on there. But I'm going to go 2-2 slash 5-4, but it can go either way. I like it. Raja, get your score prediction in if you're watching. If you guys don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. I will be back probably Sunday night, Monday-ish, to do my match reaction on the result. Possibly Sunday night. We'll see. But taking the day tomorrow to handle some things. But don't forget to watch the under 21s. If you do have MUTV, the under 21s kick off tomorrow morning. I think that's wait, is our match tomorrow or is it Sunday? Hold on, now I have to check. Oh boy. What is today? No, okay, it's match is Sunday. Tomorrow is the Academy at 7 a.m. So hit up the Academy if you get MUTV. If it wasn't at 7 a.m., I'd probably try to do a watch along, but it's a little early. My wife probably won't even be awake by then, and I don't want to wake her up. So until then, guys, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you, Slash. Thank you, Rajat, for stopping by. Usman, good to see you. And RSV, as always. Stay warm, stay safe. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up yourselves for helping us reach 2K. We are on the road to 3K, and we've only got there because of you guys. So appreciate that. Thank you for coming by, guys. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Later.